Millions of Americans are at risk of going without SNAP benefits. Joining us to discuss is Dale Sutherland. He is a pastor and also co-founder and board chairman of Boost Others. So Dale, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Can you tell us what are you seeing on the ground right now as millions risk losing their SNAP benefits?
Well, certainly a lot of anxiety and concern over this. And we're seeing also an increase in requests for food, whereas there is usually between the SNAP benefits and current government infrastructure, a lot of that is covered here in our area.
So Dale, to me, you have a very interesting background. You used to be an undercover cop, and then you became a preacher, and now you're working to ensure people don't go hungry. Can you tell us what's motivating you through this?
Well, I would say the motivation has always been, whether I was a policeman or when I was a pastor or as a pastor, as I'm helping boost others, would be the same. And that is, we're trying our best to follow what the scriptures say. That is to help people physically and spiritually, most important spiritually, because that lasts forever. So helping people to meet Christ personally is our main message. But in order to give that message, you kind of have to wrap the gospel in a sandwich, is what Charles Spurgeon said years ago. And so if people are hungry, we need to feed them. And we do that here in the DC area so that we can help people that are really in the worst setting or in the worst, most difficult crisis. So as a policeman, I used to solve crisis with arrest. Now I can solve crisis with hope and an answer that can be long-term change for them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you have a very interesting background, and you're probably seeing families, many of them, a number of them on a daily basis, right? So can you also talk to us about how families are coping right now when they don't have these SNAP benefits?
Well, I would say we deal with people that are in crisis. We have social workers throughout the system in the DC area that let us know when somebody is in crisis and they think we can solve something nobody else can solve. So we kind of fit in that gap. So in light of that, our families that we deal with, and we have helped, I think, around 1,500 families area-wide and with our other projects in Ohio. And with those families, what we find is they're terribly resilient. And when we're able to introduce them to a relationship with Christ, it makes them that much more confident that God will get them through this next most difficult time. And so I'd say there's anxiety. Moms are working hard. Dads are working hard. When there's a government shutdown, they're trying to get other jobs, side jobs, anything to try to feed their families right now. These people are resilient, hardworking, but yes, they're anxious to get a resolution, definitely.
So with these SNAP benefits stopping, right, has there or has it not put a strain on either food charities or other organizations? Do you think charities can keep up with an increased demand, and how long can they do this for?
That's a great question. I would say that charities are working really hard in this time, and obviously, just like during COVID, let's say, it's a massive increase for them in terms of work and need. And need is what drives it. So when you see this going on, of course, they're going to be stretched. Ours is, and others are, so that it's a great time to give, to help us to be able to fund these programs to be able to get more food into the hands of those in crisis and in real need right now. I think the local church is a great place to engage with people, but there's lots of really good nonprofits that help with food as well.
So do you think, I mean, this situation, I would say, is highlighting how fragile government assistance can be. In your view, has America become too reliant on government assistance as opposed to community bodies like charities, for example, and churches?
Oh, I think that Democrat, Republican, this has been a discussion for at least 60 or 70 years. So we've tried all kinds of things. So I think there is in some places and in some families, an overdependence. But when you hear the stories we hear about families in crisis, a lot of the families that are getting help are not lazy or unwilling to try to make their own way, but for a variety of reasons, because of crisis of family sickness, and job problems and so on, it creates a real need that ideally is a temporary need. That's where we try to work, is we call it boost others. We try to boost them out of that crisis. But if it's perennial, if there's drug addiction or mental health or other things, then there's other parts of our system that come in and try to help them as well.
What attitudes or emotions are you seeing or encountering the most as you help families?
I would say two emotions constantly amaze me. One is there's fear or a healthy concern, but two, a commitment to getting their family through this. Families are not giving up because of lack of government funding. They are the ones I'm talking to are fighting hard to try to make this work and get through this in spite of whatever the government and so on does.
And do you think we need to put more of an emphasis on strengthening communities, the local organizations, to help families overcome these difficult times?
Oh, I think that it would be wise to invest in those that are willing. I always say you find people like our guys who go to do these deliveries. These are special people. And so when you have one in your community that you can really trust, it's wise to invest in them. They're willing to do work you're not able to do. You got to go to work. You got to do this and that. So to find people like our organization that are on the front lines, willing to help, and then helping them to help others. To me, this is brilliant. And I would love a world where we were able to just operate through our charities and not have to depend on government support. But for now, I think we're finding a balance. But this is a time when we really are in need to really depend on our community partners. Of course, as a pastor, as a Christian, I say, first, rely on God, the Lord Jesus, giving everybody a chance to know him. Secondly, I would say, is to look to your church or other institution. And then thirdly, to look for nonprofits, other churches, mosques, synagogues, wherever, where you can find this kind of emergency aid.
So Dale, to wrap up here, just one final question. If you could give a message to families trying to get through this period of time, what would you tell them?
Well, there's two things to get through a crisis. One is interior and one is exterior. You know what I mean? So if I'm scared all the time, I can't lead. I can't help my family through this. I can't resolve problems. So I would say, to me, that's where we go for our relationship with God. It is essential we go to him, as well as other great psychology and other encouragements that you can learn and get from online. I think both those things really make a difference. And then secondly, look to creative solutions, because they're there. If you're in America, they are there. You just got to work a little harder to find them sometimes, and it's worth every bit of effort and bureaucracy you might have to manage, because there are people out there, believe me, who want to help you through this. They really are, and it's just a matter of getting connected with the right ones. And with God's help, I think we'll pull through this crisis, and hopefully lives will be changed inside as well as outside.
Well, Dale, I have to say it's been really great speaking with you today. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.